The continued discussion over what happened in South Carolina, and there's actually some good news for Rand Paul when it comes to going up against Hillary Clinton. Let's welcome back to MidPoint, syndicated radio talk show host from Virginia, host of the John Fredericks Show and Morning Drive. John Fredericks joins us right here. John, good to talk to you again.
Hey, Ed, it's always an honor to be on your show.
There you go, my friend. Let's get to it. First of all, from South Carolina. People now are trying to make some sense of this. There are people out here who are saying that there may have been a cover-up, that maybe if the video didn't exist, that something would happen. I think it's fair to ask, but I don't think it's fair to actually start pointing to cover-ups and conspiracies when the local government did exactly what they should have done. This guy was fired and arrested. It's the right thing.
No question. Look, this is an epidemic, Ed, that goes beyond one isolated, unfortunate, tragic incident in North Charleston, South Carolina. I mean, this particular officer fired 8 rounds of his firearm. If anybody has a firearm, 8 rounds, I mean, that's not easy to do. Obviously, there was an incident that went on. But, Ed, when you look at this thing in the bigger scope of what's happening, you have the militarization of police all over the United States with armored equipment, with heavy artillery coming in from the Department of Defense all the time, with combat, camouflage type things. I think it changes the mindset and it changes the personality.
Okay, but hang on a sec, Jack. John, rather, I'm gonna challenge you on that, because some people in law enforcement say we need that equipment because the criminals are better armed than we are.
Well, sure. Look, you know, we can continue to say that, and this is where I really think the conservatives gone off track. Because you can keep arming the police to the hilt, but what happens is it changes the mindset and the personality of many of the officers themselves. And you can date this all the way back, Ed, to when we passed the Patriot Act, and then the Son of Patriot Act, and then the NSA spying on everything. I mean, you've got a situation now where we have police and others in the conservative movement saying, hey, if you're stopped, you can't question authority. Nobody can question authority. Nobody can ask a question now. And Ed, our country was founded on questioning authority. If we didn't question authority, we'd still be under the Brits.
Right, but we do have to admit, though, John, and you do have to admit, though, that we have to be very cautious here and not blame the victim in this case, because anybody who's running away and gets plugged 8 times or 8 shots taken at him, that's something that's way overboard. You got to be very careful here of not going after the victim, right?
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the issues when you look at some of these other incidents that have gone on, whether it be Staten Island or Ferguson, etc. You know, you've got a lot of those on the right saying, well, you know, it's the victim's fault. If he hadn't been selling cigarettes on the street, if he hadn't been stealing a Twinkie or a box of cigars in a store, then he'd be fine. Well, these things happen. They don't mean that you get shot 8 times.
They don't mean that you get killed. Indeed. Minute left. Let's go to this. I wanted to make sure that we got this in here. According to a new survey, and I believe this is a Pew poll. It's a Pew poll. Talks that Rand Paul leads Hillary Clinton by 44% to 41% in Colorado, 43% to 42% in Iowa. By the way, it's a Quinnipiac poll. That's a little bit of a shocker, don't you think?
Look, it should be exciting for Republicans to have a candidate in this race, Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky, that is going to change a lot of the debate, take it out of the mainstream, get away from some of the more establishment type Republicans. And there's no question Rand Paul has an appeal to younger people, to minorities and others. And I think it's going to be an exciting race.
10 seconds, though. Do you think that Rand Paul could defeat Hillary Clinton in a general election? Your opinion?
I don't think he'll be the nominee, so my answer would be no.
Okay, there you go. Who do you think the nominee will be?
You know what? I think it's tough to say right now. You know, Ed, It's wide open. There are so many candidates.
That's all right. That's our job, John. You know what it's like when it comes to these. You got to ask and you got to make sure and find out where you're going. John Fredericks, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us.
Ed, thank you so much.
All right, take care. There are certain dates which do live in infamy. April 9th is one. We need to take a step back and think about how we here in 2015 think about being an American and about those who ensured our opportunities. Telling it like it is next.